I've never been a big fan of in-pond filtration because it does come with its issues when you're taking the filters out to clean them. You often lose a little bit of the sediment it's picked up falling back into the pond. I did, however, just recently purchase this one. It is a submersible pond filter. You can see on the box there what it looks like. What I'm going to do is I will take it out of the box and show you the components. And I'm not going to do a typical unboxing as you watch me take piece by piece out of the box. I'm just going to get them all out, put them on the table here, and then show you what they are. The reason I picked this up is I want to supplement the filtration that is in my quarantine tank. That's the one that has the mago in there, which is going through the treatments, and I will be providing a little bit of an update in the video in a few moments along with that as well. So I'm going to take this out of the box and show you the components here. So I'm going to put the camera down and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so I've taken the filter out of the box. This is the filter housing itself. It has 3 clips to hold it on. It just opens up and then you can put your media and everything inside there. It does come with a substantially sized sponge, moderately coarse, so it shouldn't plug up too quickly, but it will stop a lot of debris from kind of getting in and add to extra filtration on there. It also comes with 2 bags of the sintered glass bio media, which goes into the bottom of the filter. And because of the way the filter opens up, you can use this media, or you can certainly put your own in there, mature media, something like Caldness if you have it. I'm going to be adding some of that into the filter. Some of the mature media that I have now on my indoor pond, I'll be putting some of that in there just to help kickstart this filter and give it a bit of a bacterial boost, if you will. And it also comes with 3 different fittings here to connect the pump directly to the filter. And what I'm going to be doing is instead of using these, which you put a hose from your pump to the hist and then into the filter, as I'm going to get a fitting which will fit directly into the opening on the filter. I'll turn that there if you can see it, hopefully. That's going to go directly into there. It is a threaded fitting, so I should be able to get the fitting in there directly, and from there the pump will fit directly onto the front of it. And as I say, that will act as a pre-filter to take a lot of the finer debris and everything out, and then will allow me to supplement the existing filter I've got on the quarantine tank. I will show you that one in a few moments as well on the video here. And I think that should definitely help. Once I have finished with the quarantine tank and with the new fish that I've decided to name Mystery, and I will explain the reason for that name a little bit later on in the video. And once I have taken Mystery out of the quarantine tank and the healing and everything hopefully is more or less complete, then this filter here will be connected to the pump that is presently in my goldfish setup with the ranchus that you saw in an earlier video. So this will add some additional filtration for them, and because of the way it's set up, there's absolutely no fear that they're going to get pulled against it or injured or anything like that. And again, it will be used to kind of supplement the filtration for the goldfish as well. So I'm going to stop things here at the moment. I will show you once I have everything kind of set up and ready to install it in the quarantine tank. And I'm just going to call it a bit of a break here for a moment, and I will get back with you shortly on that. I am happy to say that the injectable antibiotic that I had ordered has finally arrived. I'll move the bottle a little closer. Hopefully you can kind of see the name on it here. This is actually the primary component of Baytril, which many of you have probably heard of. It's used mainly by veterinarians for injecting as an antibacterial for dogs and cats. It can be used on sheep, horses, pigeons, etc. I have used it previously on other koi and it has worked very well for me. This is a 10% solution, and I have a chart that I will be posting in the video that will show you the various injectable amounts in milliliters that you would put into your fish depending on the size and the weight. based on the solution percentage itself. So I'll give you an idea as to the amount I'm going to be using. And this is the syringe that I will be using to start the initial injection. You can see it as a, hopefully you can see that, it's a very fine, very small needle. It will be used to, as I said, inject the fish. I'm going to be doing intramuscular injections with this. In the past I found that to be the safest for me, and it minimizes the likelihood of getting a needle into any vital organs in the fish. And I will be sedating the koi as I have done in other sections of the video you have seen, and once sedated we'll do the injection, and then I'm going to treat with the Baytril and the new skin bandage, or sorry, with the polysporin and the new skin bandage on top of that. And the injections will take place over a period of a few days. So I'm going to do one which you'll see in a few moments, and another one in about 3 days, another one 3 days after that, and another one 3 days after that. So initially 4 doses, and then I'll give the fish a break. Hopefully this will have a significant improvement capability for the ulcers that I'm dealing with on that fish. And it is still coming along well, it's eating well. I'm hoping that this is going to make all the difference to the using the injections to help it heal more quickly so I can get it out of the quarantine tank and in with my other fish. So I'm going to put the camera down now. I will be back with you once I have the fish sedated to show you how I do the injection, and then I would do another treatment, as I said, on the ulcers themselves, and then get the fish back into the quarantine tank. And I will also be installing the new filter into the tank, and having that, as I said, a supplement to the existing one down there as well. Just want to try and get the water as pristine as possible to help with the healing process. So I will, as I said, put the camera down. I will be back with you before long. Alright, the fish is now sedated. I do have the syringe here, as you can see. Hopefully I'm going to do an injection just here in the muscle of the pelvic fin. So I'll do that now. I'll try and keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to turn the camera off after that, just to do another treatment of the ulcers. And so I'm going to do this first. So just into the muscle of the pelvic fin here. The injection is complete. See a little bit of action there, so it's definitely feeling the injection having gone in, which is awesome. As you can see, I'll lift him up a little bit here. It's still looking very nasty, but it is definitely showing signs of healing. A lot of the redness has certainly gone. So things are improving little by little. The one on the side is definitely much, much better than it was. So again, I'm not going to just have you watch another treatment on the injuries. You've seen me do that a couple of times now. So I'm going to turn this off. I want to get him treated and back into his quarantine tank ASAP. So I will put the camera down now and be back with another update before too long. It has now been 3 days since Mystery got the first injection, so I'm going to give him a second one now, and hopefully that is going to benefit him because of the antibiotics in it. I am pleased to say that the ulcer on the tail seems to be more or less healed up. Certainly it's got a good healing going on. The abdominal ulcer there by the vent is still raw, but it's definitely improving in color, so it's certainly on the mend. And I did mention previously in the video about the name Mystery And the reason I chose that name is I'm still not quite sure whether this is a magoi or not. I think it could be. So to me that's a bit of a mystery. And there's also a mystery as to what happened to the fish prior to it becoming mine. Obviously something kind of nasty, and it was in a bad shape for quite a while. So I'm not sure, as I said, what happened there. And so that's why I named it Mystery, so the name is going to stick with it. I'm also going to do this injection tonight in the right pelvic fin muscle. I did the left last time. When I do injections, I try to alternate every other injection so you don't get bruising or anything around a particular area. So I'm going to do that now. Now once that's done, I will be doing a treatment of the bioband, or sorry, the polysporin and the new skin on top of the existing ulcer to try and get that to heal a little more quickly. So I'm going to do the injection now, and as I say, hopefully you'll be able to kind of see without my arms and hands being in the way too much. So I will do that right now, and then as I said, I will show you the ulcer in a moment and how it's improving. So just bear with me for a moment here. Okay, so the antibiotic has gone into the muscle for that pelvic fin. You can see it kind of just shaking a little bit, I think just a reaction from the antibiotic going in. And I'm going to move Mystery over just slightly so that you can see kind of thing how things are coming along. And again, it's not looking great, but it is much improved over what it was. The tail is certainly significantly improved. So I'm just going to dry this off around here now a little bit so I can put the polysporin on, and then I will put the new skin on top, as I've mentioned. The tail length I'm just going to leave now. That one's coming along very nicely, so I'm not going to do any more to that one at this point. This one, though, is still kind of nasty, but it's definitely has lost a lot of the redness, and it's a bit more of a sort of pinkish color. So I'm going to do that right now. Get the new skin on there following the polysporin application, and I get Mystery back into the quarantine tank so that he can relax and get some oxygen flowing back over the gills. I don't like to keep the fish out of the water for any longer than necessary. And I know they're fine for a little while, and he does take a little bit of time to come around. He goes under fairly quickly, but it does take a bit of time for him to kind of regain his equilibrium, if you will, when I put him back in the quarantine tank. And I do hold him in the airstream until he is upright and kind of ready to move on his own. So that's the polysporin has now been applied, and as I said, I'm not going to put any on the tail tonight. I'm just going to leave it go, maybe next time around. And I now have the new skin that I have shown you before. And as I said, hopefully you can see that, the new skin here. So that does help to kind of seal and keep the polysporin out of contact with the water for at least a little while. I know it doesn't stay on indefinitely, but it certainly does help. So I'm just going to put some around here, all the way around the ulcer itself, just to kind of help seal things up. And then I will do the blow on it again just to kind of help it sort of start to seal up before I put him back into the quarantine tank. And I say, because I'm just kind of here on my own, I'm not able to move him and get him into the bubbles in the quarantine tank, move the camera and everything all at the same time. So you have to kind of bear with me, just kind of visualize, if you will, me holding him over the bubbles in the quarantine tank. And another thing I always like to do is put the paper towel over the eyes and the gills just to help protect it from the light. So I'm going to kind of end the video, or this portion of it anyway, here for the moment. I want to get him back in and get the oxygen flowing again. The fin, as you can see, his pelvic fin is standing up a little bit here, and again, I think that's from the injection. It will go down very quickly, as the other one did the other night. So at that point, I'm just going to kind of end things for this segment, and I will be back with you again before too long. As I had mentioned a little bit earlier on in the video, I'm going to be supplementing the filtration down here. This is the multi-bay one. The water comes in here, flows up through a partition, down through the next chamber, goes down there, comes up into the next one, and then I'm not sure how well you can see that, unfortunately. The lighting's not the best, and then it flows out into the pond or the quarantine tank itself here. Now this is, it's doing a great job, but as you can see, the level should be way down. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that or not, but the water level is actually just about to overflow the filter here, and I changed that matting in there 2 days ago. So I'm going to change it again now, add the new filter that I had shown previously in the video, and then I will give you some more details once that is done. So I will be back with another segment of the video once I have the new filter installed to supplement this one, and a slightly more powerful pump as well. This is a 250 gallon an hour pump. The one that's going to be going in is a 350, and I will shortly be adding a 600 gallon an hour pump that I have on order that should be here soon. Back with you in a little bit. This is the bottom part of the filter that I had shown you previously in the video. I have rinsed out all the media. It's like a sintered glass or a ceramic type media here, which will provide the biological in the filter. And then once everything is together, the sponge will go on top there and the lid on top of that. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is get some K1 media out of my indoor pond filter, put that in here on top of this media, then the sponge, and then the lid. Once I have got the K1 in there, I'll just show you quickly how that looks, and then I'll put the sponge on, get the lid on here, get it connected to the 350 pump, and get it in with the quarantine tank with mystery. So I will be back with you very shortly with the K1 in there, and we'll then get things put back together. Just going to put the camera down now to get that media, and I will be back with you soon. I have now added the Coldness media to the filter here. I have both the K1 and K3 media, as you can see there. This is out of my moving bed filter that's on my main pond in the basement here, so that it will seed the media that came with the filter. That will definitely help to get things functioning a little more quickly as far as the water quality is concerned. The existing filter that I had shown you previously in the video and had mentioned there was on the verge of overflowing because of the amount of waste that mystery is producing. And the reason he is producing so much waste is he's presently being fed, in addition to some sinking food as well as floating koi food, he's also getting mealworms, black soldier fly larvae, and silkworm pupa as well, and occasionally some shrimp in there. So very high protein food. He is healing up, as you saw a little bit earlier in the video when I was doing the injections. So he's definitely on the mend. The high quality food, high protein food, I'm sure is helping as well. And this new filter will not only improve the water quality a bit while he's in there, but will also help take a bit of strain off the existing filter. So that's the kind of plan anyway. Once I have this put together with the foam and the lid back on, I will show you the pump that's going to be going on here. I'll get that in place, then take it out to get it installed in the quarantine tank. And when I'm ready to just kind of drop it into the water, I will show you that. So I will be back in the next little segment of the video. This is the pump that I'm going to be using. It is a 350 gallon an hour mag drive pump from a company called Danner or Pondmaster. I've had this for a number of years, just kind of keep it as a spare pump if I need it for the quarantine tank or for the goldfish or anything like that. So this will be fastened using this piece here. It's a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch fitting. The 1/2 inch will be going into the front of the pump there. The 3/4 inch goes into the filter, which is here, and you can now see I have the lid on that. So that will screw into there. And then this, as I said, will be put into the quarantine tank once I have the tubing connected to the outflow or the output on the pump here. So I'm going to put the camera down for a moment, get this hooked together, take it out to the quarantine tank. The existing pump that's in there, the 250 gallon an hour pump, that one is going to come out, and then this one will replace that. And while I am sort of getting things ready here, I'm also going to clean that filter just to make sure that it's good to go with this new addition to it. So I'm going to move on with that now, and I will get back to you in the next little bit once everything is hooked up and ready to be put in the water to get things moving again. I am down here standing beside my quarantine tank. The filter here and the pump has now been connected to each other, and the tubing you see here is the one that feeds this filter, which again is the sort of three-stage one. As I said, there's filter matting in the first compartment, and then some coldness media in the next two for the biological. And again, I do apologize, the lighting is not the best down here, but it's coldness in those two. And this is the filter matting in there, and I've just changed that up with some clean matting to eliminate that sort of overflow that I had mentioned previously. So what I'm going to do now is I will set the pump and filter here into the tank. I will get it plugged in, and then hopefully everything will be up and running as it's expected. So I'm just going to put the camera down for a moment so that I can access this, get it in there without sort of dropping it to the bottom of the tank and frightening Mystery. He is still definitely high-strung or nervous, I guess, from being in here, from taking him out to do the treatments and the injections, etc. So I want to keep him as relaxed as possible so he doesn't injure himself. So I'm going to get this down in there, I'll get it plugged in, and I will be back with that in just a few moments. The new pump and filter combo have been installed into the quarantine tank. You can see the water coming in very nicely. I put some clean filter matting inside the first chamber here. Again, as I mentioned, the water flows from here through the channels here, through some coldness media, goes down the bottom, comes up the other side here into some more coldness, overflows a little barrier there, and it goes down into the quarantine tank. And you can just kind of sort of see where that's coming in. I'm hoping that this will make a big difference in the water quality to help Mystery heal. He has been doing very well, and as I mentioned previously, he's eating quite well, eating very good food, high protein food, to help with the healing process. And some of you may be wondering, having seen the filter cage on the new filter, the holes are relatively fine. Is it going to get clogged with fish waste? In all likelihood, the answer is yes. But because of the setup, it's very easy to take out and to clean, which I'll probably be doing every couple of days. Just clean the sponge, and then I'll put it back together. The biomedia will stay untouched, and that way it will minimize the sort of strain on this filter. That will stay cleaner a lot longer, which will again help with the bio and everything in this particular tank. So thank you all again for watching, for kind of putting up with my explanation and things that I have been doing with Mystery here. My goal is, of course, to get him fully healed and in with the other koi. I know this could take a number of months for the healing to be complete. I'm hoping that within another 4 weeks or so in the quarantine tank here, the recovery will have gone well enough that I will be able to move him in with the other koi, where he will be able to recover in there, and then I can move him out from time to time just to check on him if need be. And with respect to the filter setup that is in here now, this quarantine tank also doubles as an additional water supply for the ranchu that I have here. You see a few of them just kind of scooting around in there. So what I normally do is, when I'm not using it as a quarantine tank, there is a connection in there that will go onto here. So the pump sits in the bottom of the ranchu tank, gets pumped up into the top tank, and then from there it just comes back into the lower one. thereby doubling the volume of water the rancher have available to them. So that's how I'm going to set things up again once Mystery has moved into the main pond down here with the other koi. So on that note, I'm going to call it a quit or an end for this video. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate your support as always. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already done so. Feel free to leave a comment below, and I will follow up in the not too distant future to let you know how Mystery's recovery is coming. Thank you all again. Happy ponding.